Welcome. My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, I'm here. It's a big day. It's election day. It's all kinds of stuff going on in the world. But I do want to start with thanking Tim Riley, number one, who was ordained to be a director of Awaken the Dream. So thank you, Tim. I want to thank Ellery Moody, because she's my web gal, and she does a great job on promoting my program. And also, Diane Doheny just sent me a whole big box of more lectures of Joel Goldsmith. So it looks like, thank God for makeup, I'm going to keep going because I love what I do. And I'm grateful for this experience because, you know, I was ordained to be the student teacher of Joel Goldsmith. I know I am because my destiny took me there. So today, I want to just get very intense about the spiritual identity that we all have that's been built into our souls. And as Joel says, centuries ago. And by the way, I can't help but say Joel Goldsmith was so ordained to do the infinite way. He was a Christian Science practitioner in Boston. He had a big business. He used to be a retailer. His mother always used to say, you got to find God, don't you? And by gum, as he was working in the church, he just sort of noticed there was human stuff going on. You know, there was one-upping, there was competition, and of course, he was just given the message of the infinite way. He was a channel for this wonderfully huge movement. He's global, he's popular, he makes sense, we're invisible, we're spirits. So thank you, Joel, another ordained friend, and thank you that I'm ordained to talk about what you're talking about, which I love. So he starts this particular lecture on spiritual identity with wondering why the trip is hard. You know, we get frustrated. It's not always smooth and easy. You know, our days are not as comfortable as they could be. We know we have to meditate. We know that's the rule. We commune, we tabernacle, we carry on within because we all have a source. We were created centuries ago. And I love this concept. Can you imagine? We're centuries old. And if we're doing something now that makes sense with where we were ordained to do it, think of all the times we weren't ordained to do this and all the experiences we must have needed to be ready for this. So all of you who are watching, you're very old, you've been around forever, so listen up. If you appreciate Joel Goldsmith and the infinite way, then you can contribute in your way. And you could be ordained to be an artist, a writer. You could be ordained to be anything. It doesn't matter what your talent is. If you're an actress, an actor, you can still share the love within you with everyone you know, because love is the middle name for the infinite way. We are nothing but love. This whole dimension, this human dimension, it's almost hard to say. We're trying to obliterate it because it doesn't make sense. God did not make fear. He did not make disease and all of the awful things we are trained to think about. That wasn't on God's mind. But somehow or other, I don't know if it was the Garden of Eden, we got kind of confused. We have to deal constantly with saying, shoo, get away. I don't want to think that way. And I deal with that. I'm very fragile and I'm working hard. And I think because we do have to work hard at getting rid of fear in all of its dimensions, being it our health, our family, our kids, disease, lack of funds, it helps us really to have to go within. We have to go within. So because we have to go within, we know we can commune. Prayers of the heart are heard. Our intimacy is heard. Our exploring, our imploring, our wanting to remember more who we are. So Joel will make it very clear that the more often that we can do this, the more often we can just take 20 seconds to go within and say, I know you're there. He always says, start your day this way. check in, say, okay, here we go. This day is yours, because who is in charge of you is your source that has been with you since before Abraham happened. Before the world began, when it began, you were given a job. You were ordained for centuries. And so now, the infinite way has taken off. We have changed, we have evolved, we're getting better, but every day, keep checking in. And you know, because those fear thoughts come and those, sort of dreadful ideas that we sort of actually make up, I don't know if we torture ourselves on purpose. Sometimes I wonder about that. It helps us to say, go away, that's not who I am. I'm a spirit, God is a spirit, and we are truly invisible. We're perfect. Can you imagine thinking that way? Yep, we've got it all. So that takes a lot of work, don't you think? I mean, really, because we're battling all of these wars of what's going on in the human plane, our job is to try and obliterate it. So as we go within, as we proclaim, as we do divine mind, actually, let's talk about mind. Mind is not what it's about. Using the mind to claim, to proclaim, yes, you can use it as a launching pad. You can jump off that. You can go to church, which is wonderful, and you can learn from that and jump off that, or synagogue. You can jump off anything that takes you deeper into who you really are, which is perfect. Can you imagine? You are perfect. You have it all. You will live forever. There's no getting around that. Until the world ends, you're going to be cooking. You're going to be doing your thing. You're going to be helping this dimension be obliterated. Because as we step up, we do that. We're one. We're one big energy. We're one consciousness. So let me talk about consciousness. We're one huge consciousness, and each one of us has an individual assignment within that consciousness. Now think about the kind of God that must be, that can literally just talk to you and talk to your neighbor differently and talk to everybody differently, because your source is working with you. It's talking to you. It's directing your day. It's giving you words. It's giving you assignments. You got to listen. So meditation is key. Meditation is key. So you can check in and say, okay, I'm not sure about my assignment. What do you think? I think it's this way. Be vulnerable. Be open, because the more vulnerable you are with your heart, you'd be amazed at what happens. The miracles that happen every day, they happen to me. I mean, they sound like silly miracles, but they're not. You just know someone else is thinking about you. Someone else loves you dearly, wants you to find your mission. Talk about missions. When I think of the centuries we supposedly have been around, I think of the mission, frankly, Joel Goldsmith was given. I mean, this was given to him to do. Being a student teacher of Joel, that's my mission. It was embedded in me before the world began. And here it is. This is what I do. There's absolutely no question I do this. I do this because it heals me. It makes sense with some loss I've had, some trauma I've had. It helps me keep my head up. It helps me work hard on working on the world. The world is whole, complete, and perfect. It just is. So friends, think about what your skills are. Think about what you love to do. Anything goes. Anything goes in this world. You don't have to be a teacher of the infinite way. You don't have to be a spiritual leader or anything like that. Whatever your job is, you can still be loving. You can still love your neighbor and see your neighbor as you. Now there's a good one. As you look at your neighbor, remember what your heart gives out is what comes back to you. So you don't want to look at anything evil or ugly or sinful or dangerous, because then you have to live with it. Your vision is up to you. So love thy neighbor is powerful. Even if they don't get it, you can pray for them, but even if they're lost, it's okay. You're going to see who they are, because guess what? They have the divine spark within them, whether they know it or not. They've got it. Yep, they've got it. And they will get it, because eventually this whole world is just going to exhaust everybody. And before long, they have to go somewhere else, because there's no satisfaction in fear. I mean, it falls dead. It's meaningless. It has no energy. There's no truth to it. There's no truth to anything but a perfect life. So we've got work to do, friends. And what you're going to do is chuckle at it and say, okay, I'm not sure yet, Penelope, what it's going to be, but thanks for that inspiration. I'm going to pray about that. Because if you don't know, you're probably in a stage where you're on a journey to getting either close to it, or you're miles ahead of me, which everybody could be. I mean, you just may be doing great work invisibly and quietly, and in your meditation, in you're an individual consciousness contributing. And you're contributing with your heart. You're contributing with knowing that you're listening to the still small voice. You're practicing the presence, my friends, and it will increase as you keep practicing. And you notice when you fall off, you need to crawl back on and keep practicing the presence, because that still small voice is your boss. It's your source. It's your best friend. It's working hard. It's always there. It's waiting for you. He is knocking on the door of your consciousness. And that's something that Joel loves to say. Don't forget. The source is knocking on the door of your consciousness. So please say, come on in. So as your source comes in, you're listening, and you learn to listen more as you become more alert to the fact that miracles happen. I mean, you'll just see them happen as you surrender all of your worries. I mean, Joel also makes a point of saying, look, if you go to a practitioner and he says, take off those glasses, or you don't need that cane, people can get into trouble with that if they have not evolved to the point where they have a substitute for their illness. So medica stuff works. If you need it right now, don't knock it. I need it. I mean, I'm not Jesus Christ. And what we really want is the mind that Jesus had. And I want to talk more about those wonderful masters. Gautama the Buddha, Elijah, Moses, Jesus, they knew. They found the still small voice. And they preached it. And people came to them and they were healed, and they got everything that they needed from going to him, be it clothing, food, wine, water, funds. They got what they needed because those healers, those revelators, got it. They've got it. So that's our inspiration. I mean, yes, there was tragedy, there was sorrow, but the beautiful messages that we got about healing were divine. So my friends, commune. Communing means frequently checking in for the still small voice. When I drive my car, I always make sure that my source is doing it. I mean, every chance you get, see divinely everyone, because that's what you want to give them, but you really want to give it to you, because everybody is whole, complete, and perfect right now. This world was created. God had nothing to do with all this other stuff. He doesn't even know what that's about, or he would have done something about it for us, but he didn't. I think we just used our imagination too much. We had too much going on that we took in. Shame on us. But all I know is our job is obvious. We kind of have no choice. Who wants to live in fear? We all want to walk on water. We all want miracles. We all want our good health. We all want funds. And guess what else? The heavenly riches are waiting for us. Now, I've talked about this before, that you don't know what that's going to be. If you surrendered the fact that you think you better pray for money, or you want this or you want that, that's meaningless. Just think of it this way. Your source has a better idea from you and surprises for you. You have no idea maybe what that is, but probably much greater than what you're thinking about. And surprises are wonderful. You never know. But if you surrender, those heavenly riches which God has in store for you can kick in. So you've got to get this other stuff out of the way. Stop praying for stuff that you think you need where it's meaningless. You not only don't need it, but it doesn't work, it doesn't exist. And that's another point. It doesn't exist. This world, this crazy world, does not exist except in our mind. So that's why the mind has got to get out of the way. Yeah, I know, that's kind of hard. We want to claim all kinds of stuff. We want to pray for stuff. But what we really need to do is be still. Be still and know and meditate and receive our guidance. But you have to listen. And we're also impatient. Boy, am I impatient. I know all about that. We have to calm down and breathe, relax, and ask, okay, what's up? I hear the still small voice, and that's all I want to hear. I want to hear the still small voice that will never, ever leave me, will be with me to the ends of the world, and in sickness and in health, on your deathbed, in the worst situation you could ever be in, you're not deserted. If you're going through the gates of hell, you have company. You get that? That's, to me, fabulous. And I also have fun thinking about, I wonder where we're going after this one, because if we're spirit, we can leave the body, and who knows, well, I do know. I was given, it's so interesting that I was given this job, because when I was a kid, I had an inspiring voice teacher who walked on water. We didn't talk about it, but my heart picked up her miracles. So one day I just left my body, and a lot of people do, and I came back with a crash. My heart hurt, and I couldn't quite figure out what that was about, but I'll tell you this, wherever I went, there are no words for how divine. There are no words. It was too perfect for words. And when I came back, it dawned on me later that my heart broke because I came back. It was that fantastic. It was that sensational. And then, it's really weird that I was so close to my dog, whom I took home at so many pounds, and I'll never forget her, and I still miss her. And when I put her down 7 days later, I've told this story, which sounds crazy, but it wasn't. I turned over, I was so uncomfortable, and out of my back lifted Miranda, this 2-foot-long spirit. And you know, our love for each other was that overwhelming, where she didn't want to leave me, and I didn't want her to leave me. So all I know is I know she's okay, and hopefully we'll see each other again. I mean, the gift she gave me about being invisible and being a spirit and being alive. I mean, I'm a pet nut. I can't help myself. I just, what gifts? They just love you, and that's what it is. So my friends, the journey is on. We're on a journey. We have work to do. So whatever your talent is, you could be a singer, you could be anything. You can be anything, but you can serve humanity by being the spirit that you are, by your vision of what you're looking at. You're looking at everything being perfect. That's what you're looking at. And God helps you do that, even though you're struggling with that. Just remember, that still small voice is in charge. So meditate. Frequently check in. And remember all those revelators in the past. They knew this. Jesus knew this. Gautama knew it. Moses knew it. Elijah knew it. And when Moses was on the mount, when he opened up, I mean, he just guided the Hebrews out of slavery. He was given everything for that trip. And he listened and he was guided because he got it. He got it. And Elijah, who wasn't comfortable with his 7,000, when he got it, his 7,000 got it. And they got together and they worked together for miracles. And miracles are natural. They're common. They happen. So think of those great stories in the Old Testament. I mean, great stories in the Old Testament. They're worth checking out because we can be in this Testament and we can keep evolving and changing and growing and obliterating the human scene. That's our job. We're getting there. Oh, and another thing that I wanted to mention that I wanted to start the show was I have a twin sister named Pamela, and her husband is the Dr. Reverend David Purdy. And they have done work on the icons of the civil rights movement. They adopted Hwang, Stephen, and Ron when they were very young, because look at us, we're old. And in those days, there was a lot of prejudice, a lot of awful stuff going on about being black or Vietnamese or whatever. So they ended up with a mission. Talk about being ordained for a mission. Those two were given the mission of the icons of the civil rights movement, adoption in black and white. Their website, I think Tim is going to put that up, so if you ever want to go check out something remarkable, Pamela and David they're ordained to do this job. They were given that job, and I still have to tell you my funny story. When we were born, we were born feet first, and my mother didn't know in those days there were two of us. They didn't have ultrasound. So the first one that came out was me, and they called me Pamela. And I thought, well, this is great. I didn't say that. But then all of a sudden the doctor said to my mother, Doris, there are two more feet. Don't go anywhere. And out came Pamela, which was called Penelope. So when they saw I had the red hair, I was Penelope, and she was Pamela. So I love our story that we two 7-pounders came barreling in, standing up, ready to go to work. So I want to praise both Pamela and David for the job that they are doing at the Zion Museum in Hyannis on the Cape. They have all these tours coming up from the South, singing away and so grateful and buying their books and thanking them for the job that they're doing. So my friends, I want to check out, but I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Tim and Ellery and Diane and Pamela and David, all these wonderful people in my life that have been blessings. So have a wonderful day and remember who you are. You've got it all. All for now.